we're actually faster than us. So you can't say that everywhere else. So center running bus lanes have been the main part of bus rapid transit, where it was developed in Brazil, in other cities in South America, in Indonesia, in Mexico, other places, but it's still hardly known in the U.S. In the Netherlands and in European countries, this is what they have too. It's not so much buses running in the center, but it's going to be trams, streetcars running in the center. Oh, you say, oh yeah, we know how to do that. We do that on Huntington Ave, on the Green Line. We know how to do that. But somehow, when we switched to buses, we sort of forgot to do it. So this is Boston's first center running bus lanes, and they're planning more. They're going to be doing them on Blue Hill Ave, which is going to be even more valuable. So one thing about them is they are not barrier separated. There's really nothing to keep a car from going into it. But it works. It works, even when it's congested, because if you're in it, you're a violator, and it's really obvious that you're a violator. When people violate, they like to do it in a subtle way. Go a little bit over the speed limit. They just kind of sneak around, but I think the bus lane it works. This was an unexpected road diet. This was not a road I would have nominated for demoting from 2 lanes per direction to 1. But the pandemic lowered traffic volumes to the point that we could do it, and they retimed some of the lights so that even with just 1 lane, there'd be enough capacity most of the time. There's still some backups here, but it's not too bad. So, yeah, what I want to tell you here is that there's the good news that America and America's transportation planners finally said, let's learn something from the rest of the world and do it right. But then I want to tell you there's also the bad news that we only got part of it right. So when you're with us, what did you want to say?
They're extending these all the way to Ruggles now.
And they're working on a plan to extend them all the way to Ruggles. And one of our students is working on that. So a few things, like if when you're in the Netherlands and you see the center running trams, so what are some of the differences? So one of the differences, when a bus stops here, the bus will have to kneel. So beep, 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 and the front of the bus comes down low so that then you can board low. So we have kneeling buses because our curbs are only 6 inches high, 5 or 6 inches high. And you can't have the floor of a bus only 6 inches high because you need some structure under it to hold it, and then the clearance would be so little you'd be bottoming out. You can get a floor of a bus to be 8 or 9 inches high, but not 6. So in the Netherlands, they said, all right, we're just buying low floor buses, and we're just gonna, every bus stop in the country, we're just raising the curve up to 8 inches. And there may be a few they haven't done yet, but almost all of them are done, and now you can roll right on and right off. Now, the demand for that was a civil rights issue for people who can't walk and are using wheelchairs. But the principle of universal design says, let's try to come up with a solution that not only enables those people, but let's make it better for everybody. Let's make a solution that works for everybody. And for everybody, just to be able to walk right on, who the largest group that benefits is the parents with the strollers. Oh, it's so nice. You just roll right on. And near the door, they keep a big empty space free for strollers. So nice. So when we built these platforms, these are not sidewalks. These are not sidewalks, the platforms out there where somebody might be stepping on. They're only for one thing. They're only for boarding the bus. So why not make them 8 or 9 there? You see, that's the DDD. You see how the bus is wheeling? And that adds Yeah, there's the shopping cart. It adds 4 or 5 minutes, and now beep, beep, beep. I mean, it adds 5 or 6 seconds to the bus stop time, which when you multiply that by the number of stops that you have to make, just makes transit slower, makes it more inefficient. You need more buses to make this to have the same frequency. So that's one thing. Another thing is, there are 2 ways to give priority to transit. One is priority in space, which is what they've got. They got bus lanes. The buses have their lane. The cars are not in their cars are in a different lane. But the other one is priority in time. So we got traffic signals. Priority in time means turn the light green when the bus wants to go. We call that transit signal priority. So to have effective transit signal priority, it's really important that the bus stop be on the far side of the intersection. Because when a bus is stopped here, what are you going to hold the light green for the bus? You have no idea. The bus stop event might take 10 seconds, it might take 20, might take 30. And when the bus is finally ready to go, it says, okay, give me a green. I mean, a traffic signal needs time to change. The pedestrians might be halfway through crossing. You can't just change immediately. So, but if your stop is on the far side, the bus could notify you when it's way down at the bottom of the hill. I'm coming. I'm going to be there in about 25 seconds. Get ready for me. And any traffic signal can be programmed with logic that with 25 seconds advance notice, I can have a green light for you and you will sail right through. Near zero delay. This is just the norm in Zurich, in many cities in Austria and Germany, in the Netherlands. It's just the norm. And so we haven't learned that part yet. And you can't just build your physical stuff and then say, now we'll throw on TSP later, transit signal priority. The 2 go together. If you know I want signal priority, you put your stop on the other side. The worst situation, and then the last thing is, the buses have their own signals. Do you see the above? There are green lights for cars, but there's a white bar for the bus. So when that white bar is vertical, that means you can go, and during yellow you'll see it flashes or something, and red it'll be a crossbar. So at this location, the buses and cars, okay, you see the yellow, it's a triangle, and now red, and the manual says the bar should be white. The red bar should be white, and Boston just said, you know what? We want to be sure the bus drivers stop. We're going to use red. Never mind what the manual says. I don't think anybody's going to be hurt because of it. And it turns out a lot of cities are using red, and they're trying to change the manual. Anyhow, here, the cars and the buses get green at the same time because there's no conflict. But at the very end, at Jackson Square, the buses can't go at the same time as the car because they have to squeeze into the same lane. So what have they got? They've got like a 7-second interval that the buses can go. The cycle is 120 seconds. That means for 113 seconds, there's a red for the bus. If I were a bus driver, I'd say, I'm getting out of this bus lane. I'm moving over into the general lane. Because the general lanes, they get a green for like 60 seconds. And a red for 60 seconds. Whereas the buses get a red for 113 seconds. So we still, so some of you are taking classes with me where we learn about traffic signals, we learn about signal priority. America needs that. There's going to be a lot of work for you. All right, any questions about these center running bus lanes? Yes, Nina.
When they do the other part of it down by Ruggles, are they considering putting the stops on the far side?
Like I said, one of my students is working on it, and I'm feeding him all the...
Okay, I have to talk to Greg about that. I gave him the photos from the bus crash at Columbus.
What did you say?
I said you'll have to talk to Greg, and I gave him some crash photos from some... That Roxbury crossing.
So I have a question. In this place, there's a stop in both directions at the same spot. Going up the hill, it's before the light. Going
That's
down
right.
the hill, it is after the light.
Right. So how do you have it both be far side, is you have one over there for the bus going that way and one over here for the bus going this way. And one advantage of that is it takes less space. So in terms of the demand for space, here what the buses need is not just 2 lanes but also 2 platforms. If you did it the other way, you would need 2 lanes and a platform here and 2 lanes and a platform there. So that means you need less space. So it would mean that the moving lanes, they'd shift. Over here, the moving lanes would be to the right, and there'd be a platform on the left for the downhill bus. And then on the other side of this, then all the lanes veer over on this side of the street. So you can see, for instance, in Indianapolis, where they've done some nice bus rapid transit with center running bus lanes. That's how they do it. It's far side. They have transit signal priority, and they just switch them. Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't we build streetcars like we used to?
Why don't we build streetcars? So the answer is they're more expensive. And we're a poor country. You know, we're just a third world transportation. A poor country. So, and the economic case for streetcar is when you have, it only becomes economical if you have a lot of people on the same route. So streetcar would make 100% sense for the Blue Hill Ave route. There's huge demand from Mattapan all the way up through and then continuing to the Longwood Medical area. That would be a great streetcar route. It used to be all streetcars. Every bus route in Boston was a streetcar route. There were streetcars here. There were streetcars everywhere. We got rid of them because it requires maintaining all these wires. But there's very, yeah, it's,